Hello, guys. Welcome to another Friendcities interview here. We have Morphia of Morphia Slow.
Hello, everybody.
We met at a performance, actually, Parallax Prom at Club Contact. Do you remember that show? Can you tell us a little bit about it?
I remember that show. I was playing my Jesus guitar for the first time. I had this old guitar that I put pictures of Jesus on because I didn't like how it looked, and I just had these random pictures of Jesus, and I thought I wanted to spruce it up a little bit. Um, it was a great show. We had, before we knew it, so many people were there, and it felt great.
Definitely. I think that you guys stood out so much. I unfortunately caught closer to the end of the set, and what I did hear, and also just like your performance, so many people were captivated by it, and just I love your sound. You also have a single coming out. That's on May 14th, Virgin, and so I got the chance to hear that. I'm excited for you guys to hear what's going to be coming out from Morphiaslow. So without further ado, I'm ready to ask some more digging questions. So, how would you describe yourself to someone who has not met you?
I'm an open book, yet mysterious. I'd say I can be funny. I think I'm a kind person. Um, but don't mess with me because you don't know
Okay.
what will happen.
What's people's general reaction to you into that?
I don't, maybe I'm not good at telling fake love, but I feel like I have a generally positive experience with most everybody that I come into contact with. I think I get along with most anybody, especially out in the world, being able to play for people. I think people naturally gravitate towards you when you're performing. I once had a teacher tell me the audience already likes you, they just want to know that you like them. So that's something that maybe if you're a performer to keep in mind, and don't be too scared because they already want to like you.
Another question, kind of in that same vein, because I ask you, how would you describe yourself to someone who hasn't met you? But at the same time, how would you describe your music to someone who hasn't heard it yet?
I generally say like folk rock, but especially with the newer stuff coming out, I would say it's a bit Lynchian, especially with our latest song Dreamin' to Death that's been out for like 6 months. Very just heavy, glittery, theatrical, but also simple. Like I grew up learning like folk classics, so nothing I'm doing is that far removed from that.
That's interesting. I didn't know that those were your roots. What kind of got you into that?
When I was 10 years old, I met a man by the name of Trevor Jones, and he taught me pretty much everything I know about performing and singing and playing guitar. Especially, he was in his 70s when we met, and he would teach me all the folk ballads and classics and pull me on stage at bars. So that's how I got my start singing for people, is like singing for drunk boomers at, you know, Ruby Tuesdays. That if you can do that, you can honestly do anything because that's kind of the hardest thing to do actually,
To star or to sing at Ruby Tuesdays?
to sing at Ruby Tuesdays.
Pivoting a little bit, I know you started Morphiaslow alone, and so it hasn't stayed that way. How did that happen?
Well, I had another iteration of the band with some other folks, and that we only ever played two shows, but the second show we played, two of the people that ended up in the band were there at that show, and we just kind of hit it off. And I remember my drummer, not my current drummer, but my drummer for most of the recordings on the new record, Jacob Pedinato, he was at that show, and I remember him coming up to me and he was like, "If you ever need a drummer, let me know." And I was like, "Okay, buddy." But we ended up recording in Oracle at the Oracle recording studio, even like a month or two later, because there was an opening, and they had asked like who can come in, and my friend Josh, who is my bass player now, he was the one who recommended like, "Hey, I met this girl and she's really cool. She should do it." So it was just all kind of fate and things coming together. And then Vance, who plays guitar, he him and Josh lived together, and they played in a band called New River Slim, which was one of my
Right.
favorite bands, literally ever. Just going out on the scene and stuff, and they are now kind of defunct. But I got them to come back for my show at the Beast next month.
That's so exciting.
Anyway, they're all just kind of friends, and now I get to be friends with them. So it's really a great experience.
Well, amazing. And I mean, I imagine that the dynamic changes a little bit as you have people come in and out of the project, and especially as it starts creating something alone, and then now you're getting other people's creative input on it. How has that dynamic changed?
I think having the boys, because in my first iteration, I feel like I was kind of off. Like, I couldn't be like totally myself because I was younger too. I was like 21. So I was kind of
Hmm.
silly, you know. But I think now with these guys, I can truly be myself. But other than that, especially with the newer stuff, their influence is really heavy and different than my own. Like, more, they're the kind of guys who will stand around and sing, like, play Red Hot Chili Peppers, and I'll roll my eyes, you know, because it's like, I don't care about that. But
Right.
I think that bleeds into, like, in the end of Virgin, we had been, right before we went to record that, we had learned a cover of I'm Not Okay by My Chemical Romance, which was one of my favorite bands as a kid. And I think if you re listen to that track, it bleeds into it a little bit, just the voicing and the expression. So they bring their own flair. And like for Dreamin' to Death, Josh just was playing some stuff on the bass, and I really liked it. And that ended up being the whole song. So like I definitely let in what I can, but I will say I'm a strict master when it comes to being a band leader for sure.
You're open to their ideas, it sounds like, but at the same time, it's like you still have a direction that you're going, and that isn't being sacrificed. Did you always want to make music? Did you know that this is what you wanted to do?
The music just happens to you. And sometimes it's the only thing that you have, which, like they say, freedom's just another word for nothing left to lose. So that's where the true that's where the true musicianship lies. And I'm skirting to it.
The music just happened to you. But even when you started music, right?
Mm-hmm.
When it started happening to you, did you know that it would sound the way it does now? Or did you imagine maybe that it would? There's no way
No,
to know, right? But
I never knew. Because the first record that I did is very soft and very like baby. It's very clean. It's very like singer songwriter. But I think what I'm doing now is a little more rock and roll. Just
for
just
sure. I definitely I've poked through your records a little bit. And I definitely have heard like a progression in the sound, especially I don't know how much I'm allowed to say. The direction that you're heading is I'm very excited for it. Definitely a little bit different. And so like even that first iteration of music that you started with on that softer side, is that closer to like what you originally kind of started with?
I would say so, yeah.
Yeah.
The more, but what I've found and what I kind of joke about is I think my songwriting used to be a lot more intellectual and like maybe better. But now I'm in the phase of my life where I'll rhyme sad and bad. You know, I just like don't care as much for the technicalities.
And that being said, when we were at the show at Parallax Prom, I saw that you were playing the guitar. Is that the instrument you started with?
No, but I've had that guitar for a long, long time. It's what I would call a workhorse guitar. It sounds good. You can play it anywhere. And I've kind of retired my electric right now because it always sounds kind of weird, and that guitar always sounds good. It's not as sexy though, right?
Visually?
Visually, yes.
Okay.
I'm big on visuals sometimes, and it's not my favorite, but it it gets the job done and it sounds really good. But I've had her for a long time.
What about guitar in general? Is that where you started musically?
I played piano when I was like 5 years old, and then I played violin and I played drums. Played a lot of things, jack of all trades style.
Right, right. And so today, what do you feel like you could tell someone, I know how to play this?
Everything, nothing.
I can play you. Pivoting again, kind of at the beginning of your creation of music, what album was your first love?
My mom had a copy of T Rex the Slider, classic album.
I don't know who that is.
Have you heard the song like Bang the Gong? Get it on, bang the gong, get it on.
I feel like this sounds very familiar, yes.
I feel like you'd like T Rex. He's like hair rock, but really, really good. Like, not cheesy.
And you
Just like,
loved that album?
I love that album. And he's in the likes of, like David Bowie and stuff like that. But another album I loved as well. Maybe this is a better answer. On my iPhone 4, I had downloaded and bought Angel Olsen's "Burn Your Fire for No Witness," and I remember like listening to it with my little earphones all the time. And I was also a big My Chem girl. If I'm gonna be really honest, if I'm gonna tell you the roots, it was My Chem for sure. I was in love with Gerard. Who wasn't?
I love that. I love that you have both too, because I feel like My Chemical Romance like is it cuts so deep. That's like that's where you're unified with others. But Angel Olsen is a little bit more like I I can't imagine listening to it on an iPhone 4. It must have changed you.
For sure.
Do you feel like there's any other albums that influence your direction today, kind of musically?
I don't know. I'm kind of like an old person. I've been listening to Roy Orbison's In Dreams pretty much all over and over all the time. I love some parts of the 68 comeback special, Elvis Presley. Obviously a big Thief fan. Let's not lie. I feel like it goes. But overall, like that Roy, I love his theatrics. I love his, and he's very streamlined in his themes. He has like 10 songs about dreams. Like, girl, wake up.
Do you have any recurring themes in your music that way?
The sun. I talk about sleeping. I have a bit of like a sleep addiction, I would say. Like sometimes I'd rather be asleep than awake. Um, so like I have lyrics like when I say early morning sun and moving on, it's about like getting your life together. And I have a new song on the upcoming record that I say nothing really shines like the morning sunshine. Nothing really flies like the light of day. So I would say like the sun, and we're in Arizona.
Yeah, you got to praise the sun here. It's kind of
Or lament it.
so for this next part, you can say the context or not.
Okay.
But is there a song that has a lot of meaning to you? And again, yeah, you can say the context or you cannot say the context.
The context. I think what I'm supposed to say is that my song Virgin is coming out on May 14th.
Well,
And
of
that's a
course.
big deal to me. That song is like, it's about the modern dating scene, and it's also about like Satanism, and it's also about, you know, never feeling quite good enough. Especially, I think a lot of people will relate to this song because, I mean, I always dedicate it to the ran through bitches when I play it. And I always ask the crowd, I'm like, who's ran through? And sometimes it hits and then sometimes no one says anything. But it's like we're in Phoenix, like they're lying.
Yeah, literally, you're like these
Cheers.
people, y'all are being,
Cheers.
y'all must be on first dates. It's okay.
Well, almost that so for real. Like, yeah, but I mean, you're gonna have to hear it for yourself. I can't really say much about how I feel about it. I there's magic in this song. I've been sitting on this song for over a year, which I should have just put it out, but now is the right time to put it out. We're just hitting on Hot Girl Summer point three. Megan is single now.
Exactly.
Maybe it'll be the song of the summer. Who knows? At least it will be in my house and in yours too.
Well, of course, the whole record, actually. And actually, you guys don't understand how much I mean that. I know. On the topic of Virgin, let's bring it
Yeah.
back there. Can you tell me a little bit about, well, you told me a little bit about like what it's about. And so, where did you start writing it?
I remember where I started writing it. I remember I went to a Pariah Pete show. Shout out Pariah Pete. Okay. And I was driving from his show to 1912 to meet my friend Lou for like a drink. We were gonna have a chat. And I remember like I'd seen someone at that show that I had a like crush on. And I gave them a hug and then I like left. And I remember just sitting in my like driving my car and I was like tapping on the steering wheel and I was like, I wish I was a virgin for you, babe. And I just had that for a while. Yeah.
Wow, that's like they really do come to you. Music does kind of just happen to you, honestly. And so, once a song was completed, and it's hard to say when a song is completed, right? But when you do that, what do you want people to take away from it? What did you think? Like, I want someone to hear this song and think this.
I want people to be addicted to the song.
That's an amazing answer. Who inspires you creatively, like visually, then?
I always say Francis Bacon. That's my answer.
All right. And do you have a mood board?
Do I have a mood board? I do have a mood board.
Is it private?
I mean, I could send you my mood board if you want.
Okay.
I don't have it. I don't have it on me, but like honestly, just look around. I have
Oh,
like I have like a painting back there. I'm kind of giving my mood board to you
the
right now.
visual mood board is
Visual
actually
mood
the
board.
physical mood board.
Like on my mood board is like black gloves. So I'm kind of like
You're
I'm,
exuding it today.
I'm exuding my mood.
Okay, well,
Who
perfect.
needs Pinterest when you got me right now?
And so, Morphia, do you have an idol?
Honestly, right now my idol is Addison Rae. She's kind of just she's doing some alchemy of character that I think is what most any successful artist does. At least the ones who are character driven. There's so many successful music artists that are like not character driven. I think she's being herself, but I think she's also doing a whole thing. So that's my answer for right now. I think there's 1,000 to choose from.
Definitely. She was amazing. I saw her at Coachella, and her set was
No. Did you
awesome.
see one or weekend one or two?
I saw Weekend two, and so I got to
Okay.
see her and Olivia Rodrigo, which was pretty cool. And I agree, this is kind of off topic, we'll tangent real quick, but just I think that it is the fact that she came from such what I feel like people would consider such like lower quality entertainment, and that she was like a TikTok star. And then to be in the context that she's in now in her artistry is so integral to the context of the music that she's making now. And it's like I agree completely basically with what
Right.
you're saying. And I'm like, I can only hope to have such like character, honestly. Um,
No,
and
I know. She's brilliant. And I think she was so patient. Like but she like made her coin and then she like dispersed her coin into like quality cinema, like quality for everything. That rollout was brilliant. And she's still the pop princess. She's still doing it. And mm, she's just so good. You know, she a freak and she a little evil, which I like Doja Cat. I like them with a little stank on it.
we talked about Coachella. Who did you want to see the most?
Who did I want to see at Coachella the most? Oh gosh, I'm trying to think. Honestly, I'd love to see Geese. I haven't seen Geese. I feel like that would be a great show. I'm trying to think. I don't know the whole lineup, but yeah, Geese and Addison,
Awesome.
preferably right next to each other. Like Come on, Cameron.
Maybe on the stage together.
Let's see it. Come on.
And so Coachella's been all over the internet. And it makes me think, well, is there any other big internet things that are on your mind right now that you like can't stop thinking
Oh
about?
my, that's a great question. I'm obsessed. I'm like deadly obsessed with Ella Langley's like the hit song like he's choosing Texas, I can tell by the way. I'm obsessed with that song. I'm obviously brain rotted to shit as
Right.
most of y'all are. So honestly, oh, I just downloaded Facebook Marketplace. I've been liking looking at that. I'm looking for a Gunne Sax dress. So if anyone watching this has like a size 12/14 Gunne Sax dress, um, let me know.
Our emails will be in the description. Um, and so similarly, another big internet thing going on right now is Tomodachi Life. Are you playing? Do you know anything about it?
Tomodachi. Is that like Tamagotchi? Is that like
It's this game on the Switch. People are making like little characters, and then you like basically put them in like a little ant farm, and they go and have relationships and talk and
oh,
fight and things like that.
that sounds cute. I don't really play games.
You're not a big gamer.
I've never really been much of a gamer. I liked Mario when I was a little kid. And I liked Hello Kitty, that like a little game where you would like go around on the DS. Oh, I liked Nintendogs. But that's about how far back I go.
Nintendogs is a classic, so I feel like you go just far enough. So, I really appreciate it actually that specific era. And so some people have their 5 year plan, but I'm wondering if you have a vision of where you see yourself like at the end. Where's your end goal?
In like a bunker in the ruins of the Hollywood Hills with like reviving the cult scene, eating rice. Now we gotta be realistic. But before that, I'd like to play some good festivals. You know, I'd like to sing karaoke with Addison Rae.
It reminds me of that video of Addison Rae and Madonna. I don't know if you've seen
Yes, that's what came to mind. I was
that, but that needs
talking,
to be
I was,
you. You switch
Eddie's, no,
roles.
I'm, I was just talking to my bestie about this today. We were joking about like the Grammy party. This song comes out on my best friend Marina's birthday. This like in the next couple weeks on the 14th. And we were joking that in a year I'll be like, and this shares a birthday with my best friend. And thank you. Yeah. So that's like the energy that I'm bringing. Like, ironically, but actually real. I don't know. Sometimes you get so ironic you forget.
It starts becoming real again. It circles back around.
Mhm. Like, it's so back, we're over, that thing.
Oh, of course. It's yin and yang. Do you do anything to motivate yourself to reach your goals? Like, do you manifest like writing in your journal or like do you have post-its on the mirror? Are you folding your hands and praying? Where does the motivation come from?
The motivation comes from pits of depression and then like accelerated to pure delusion. I feel like I'm my best self when I'm talking crazy. Like I just emailed a friend of mine who does booking and stuff, and Geese is coming to town um, in October, and it's a Psycho Steve thing, who's like a local promoter. He's like the main Arizona guy. Shout out Psycho Steve. But I was like emailing my friend who works for Psycho Steve, and I was like, "What if I open for Geese?" And I know that is like not going to happen, but there's something very empowering about just being dumb. But I think I like to pray as well. I find sometimes I don't make enough time for it, but you've reminded me to.
Hmm. Well, I'm glad to have reminded you. And I think that it's not too far out of reach for you to play for geese. I mean, at the same time, too, right? Like, I know exactly what you mean.
You got to fail more.
Definitely.
I want to start
Or
failing really hard.
Do you have any other memorable shows from the past? We did talk about the one, the Club Contact show. So, yeah, any others?
I'd say I played a show last year in April, and it was on a full moon when I was opening up for my friends in New Bloom at Linger Longer Lounge, and that was an amazing show. Nothing like a full moon. The performance is better.
Would you say that that like ended up being your favorite venue, or do you have a favorite venue that you've played at?
Mm, I would say I really liked playing at the Beast, and I'm excited to play there again in a couple weeks. Um, I really like Linger in Arizona. I love Crescent Ballroom. I mean, who doesn't love Crescent Ballroom? There's so many great venues in Phoenix, and I think everyone who runs all these spots are so kind. Like I haven't really had a bad time.
We spoke about festivals, right? But are there any specific venues that you would like to play in the future, or even a specific festival?
Hmm. In terms of locally, I'd love to play at the Van Buren. It's like one of my favorite spots to go for a big show. I saw Father John Misty there a couple years ago,
Ooh,
and he sounded just like the record. It was crazy. I would say, you know what? I don't know much about festivals. I think I'd love to play Coachella. I'd love to play Lollapalooza.
Morphiacella.
Morphiacella would be amazing. I'd love to really just like, you know, just take a cute pic and just like go to Joshua Tree and just like take a nap on like a circular bed, you know.
Definitely.
You
I
know,
feel
that's
like
all
I
I
see
really
your
want.
vision.
I don't really want like Coachella's one thing. It's like I want the circular bed. Maybe I'll just skip the whole thing and just get a circle bed. Who knows?
And just be in the right place at the right time. I mean, the thing is about Coachella
Exactly.
is it's a big networking opportunity. It makes me wonder if you were there, who would you want to meet?
The secret to that, you can't. Okay, I'll tell you this. That's a great question, but I don't think you can ever go into a room wanting to meet somebody because it's like desperate energy. You have to go into the room being your best self and like vibrating high and having fun, and then you'll meet who you're going to meet. But you know, I honestly couldn't tell you who I'd want to meet because if I told you who I'd want to meet, then I probably wouldn't meet him.
It's kind
I,
of like a wish.
it's like a wish. And you know, I'm coming to the terms with what if we let ourselves not know ourselves? What if I said, I don't know myself, so I can not have to know who I'd want to meet, right? That can be freeing to like take away the pressure that you have to like know everything about yourself and take away the opportunities to surprise yourself. Like when can we be surprised? And I think that's been taken from us. Synchronicity, I think big tech is coming for synchronicity among many other things.
Kind of reeling back to the Phoenix scene, it's a pretty small scene, and we see a lot of the same people. And so you don't have to be specific to here, but do you have any enemies? Do you have a nemesis, or even just that person that you always hate to see on a night out?
I haven't gone out much anymore. I think there's people that make me feel insecure, but I don't think that there's anyone that I hate.
Morphia has no enemies.
Morphia has no enemies.
That's a positive thing to hear. Okay. And so, who do you love to see on a night out?
Who do I love to see on a night out? I love to see Steph on a night out. I love to see Reese on a night out. I love to see Jasper. I love to see New Mysphoria. I love to see. Um, I love to talk to my bestie on FaceTime. I love to see Joe, who works at Chibo. I don't really know him that well, but he always gives me a really good hug. I love to see Luis. He always dabs me out. You know, there's Lots of great folks. I'm thinking. I'm literally in the red room of Gracie's right now, thinking, who do I want to see?
Your songs, you've written quite a few. Do you have a favorite?
I do. Right now, my favorite is a song called "Everybody's Girl" that's coming out on. It might be out after Virgin. I think that might be the second single. Actually, the fourth single. Actually, next one. But Virgin is up there too. But the reason I say "Everybody's Girl" is because it's so recent, and we just recorded it like finishing up the record. So I'd have to say that song. It's a very, very succinct, like very not succinct, like speaking to how I feel about a lot of things. And I think it's a sister song to Virgin as well. Because I mean, think of even the titles, like, you know.
Right, right. And so, are there any songs that have changed meaning since you've written them? Like you wrote them to mean one thing, and now you're like, hmm.
I think songs do change meaning for sure. I think Everybody's Girl has changed meaning for me. Rich Desire, which is the title track that you heard, I think that's changed meaning a little bit because I hear like there's a petulant, annoying, bratty selfishness to that, and I think that's where a lot of my songs are like that because I'm like I'm an only child, so I can be, not the best, So it's nice to be able to just be fully yourself and just be like, meh. And people are like, wow, I like you. And you're like, that's good. I'm really excited to get some haters because I don't have any haters.
Grow your list of enemies.
I know I need to because when you get no hate comments online, that means you're kind of like not even doing anything. Like that means no one sees it. Like I need at least 10 comments being like, she's mid. This fucking sucks. Fat. I need it. Because it's like what like when I have my friends being like, oh my god, yes, queen, I'm like, love them. But that means no one saw it. I need the haters. I need the gooners to see it.
You heard it here first on Friendcities. We're gonna need to send everybody who hears this message, send some hate to Morphiaslow in the most recent comment section. Comment down below mid if you
If you
got
like
this far. We kind of spoke about who you'd like to meet, things like that, right? But do you have a dream collab, someone you'd like to work with in the studio?
the first thing that comes to mind, I've always talked about like Father John Misty. I think it's just because I have a crush on Father John Misty. But there's some like I think that's such a hard question. I don't really know. David Bowie. If we're gonna talk about fiction,
What would that sound like?
sicko.
Understood.
I don't know. I'd have to hang out with him. Do whatever
Yeah,
design drug was happening at the time.
and you'll just have to see what your guys' overlap is.
Exactly.
What about a modeling campaign? Like, who would you like to, represent?
Ooh, who would I like to represent? I will say I'm not the biggest like fashion forward girl, but the first thing that came to mind was like something dark, something strange, like Balenciaga. Something witchy, witchy and evil.
While you are relatively new to the music scene, I know you debuted in 2024 with Early Morning Sun. So, and moving on as well. I know you've been around for a while in other spaces as well. Have you always gone by Morphia, or is that just something that is specific to Phoenix?
Is that something that's specific to Phoenix? I would say played with my name. I also play drums in a band called Sewer Bitch with my friend Lou, but I'm just allying in that. I don't have another stage name. I've been Morphiaslow for many, many years before I even had this band. And I actually was looking back on some old sketchbooks from high school, and I had made a zine that was called Morphia Slow. and it was like it was so cheesy. It was a movie review of Tender Mercies and Harold and Maude, and it was an album review of In the Aeroplane Over the Sea. So
OMG.
that's where I was like, I thought I did something, and I typed it on a typewriter, and I like drew little pictures in it.
It sounds like you did do something.
I did something.
You did something. Oh.
Honestly, memorials.
And so have you always been in Phoenix? Or if not, like what brought you here?
Um, I've always lived in Arizona. I grew up in the middle of nowhere on like a ranch out in Maricopa. But I came to Phoenix. I went to ASU, got a fine arts degree, and then kind of sort of use it and not. So that's where I'm at. You know, just made so many great friends and do so many fun things. But you know, I think some people like love Phoenix, but they want to leave it. And I think I'm in that boat too. But it keeps pulling me back.
What do you think special about it?
I haven't been many other places, so I don't know how accurately I can answer it. I think the people. I think there's a freedom to Phoenix specifically, maybe within its restrictions. I don't know. Um, when I have a joke with my friends, like you know, you go somewhere else, you maybe excuse me, you like go to another state, and you come back and you say like I'm back on American soil, you know, but you're in Phoenix. Like um, I'm just comfortable here, honestly. I think so many places are special and great, but I think the music scene is like large. It's not the smallest, but it's accessible. It's accessible and like the people are generally kind, which I'll always come back to. And there's only one Gracie's Tax Bar, which I'm actually at right now. This may look like my house. I'm actually live from Gracie's right now.
I think we're ready to move into the next section of this interview. This is a rapid fire question
Okay.
section. So don't think too much about your answers. Think quick. It's like the end of Family Feud where you get like a
Okay.
few seconds.
Okay.
So are you ready?
Yes.
All right. Three words you want people to associate with you and your music.
Fabulous. Freaked out. Out was the word.
Right. Favorite horror movie.
Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
Favorite lyric that you've written.
I want you only. I want to be your baby, but when you hold me, don't let me fall to sea.
Digital or analog.
Analog.
Cats or dogs.
Cats.
Celebrity you want to chat with, dead or alive.
Lou Reed.
And if someone drops in on you, what would they probably find you doing?
Doom scrolling.
And finally, what is your fandom name? What are your fans?
Sodomites.
Amazing. Okay. Well, thank you so much. Do you have anything to say to your fans that have been here this whole time?
I just want to say thank you so much. Morphia loves you. Come to the show. I will give you a kiss. You can sit on my lap. All that stuff. But yeah, thank you for always being there for me and always having a great time because we're all friends here.
And what about to our fans, the fans of Friendcities, getting to know you for the first time?
Hello, Friendcities. You are very cool for watching independent journalism. So I would say continue to support Friendcities in their early stages. And I hope you enjoyed getting to know Morphia a little bit.
And so, do you think that we could speak to Aline?
Yes, she's always right here.
All right.
It's like Squidward and SpongeBob when their hearts are like connected.
You just need to do one of those like Sims transitions when they change outfits. Just like turn around real quick and you'll be
Wait,
the
wait,
next one.
wait. Hold on. I'm here.
So, how does the dynamic work between you guys?
She's cruel.
Oh,
She's not very nice to me, but I try to be supportive of her.
well, I'm glad that you guys seem to make it work in the end.
Yeah,
Um,
we have to.
well, thank you guys both for joining us in this interview. I want to mention again, everybody, that the new single Virgin is going to be out on May 14th. So please look out for that. And anything else to say before we sign off of here?
Los Angeles, May 17th. The Beast, May 15th. And Slow Body on May 14th. And happy birthday, Marina. And
Happy
happy birthday,
birthday.
Virgin.
Happy birthday, Marina. Happy birthday, Virgin. And remember, guys, get off of your computers and get into the real world and support Morphiaslow in the real world. But, buying some things off the Bandcamp won't hurt either. Um, all right. So thank you again. And we'll see you guys later.
Bye.